This is Stepping Stones lesson 7.7. We are still working with adding mixed numbers, but now we're going to be doing composing whole numbers. So our fractions are going to be greater than 1. So step in says the owner of a cafe has estimated there are about 1 5/8 gallons of strawberry ice cream in one container and 2 6/8 gallons of lemon ice cream in another. What is the total amount of ice cream in the two containers? Do you think that it is more or less than 4 gallons? How could you figure it out? The cat says I could count on from 2 6/8. And the turkey says I could split each mixed number into wholes and fractions. I know that 5/8 plus 6/8 will be greater than 8/8. What can I do about that total? So let's change this to black. So if we were going to add 2 6/8 plus 1 5/8, I could do it one of two ways. I could add just the whole numbers and then add the fractions and add those two answers together. That would work. So 2 plus 1 is 3. I'm going to write this off to the side. And then I have 6/8 plus 5/8, which gives me 11/8. So we have an improper fraction here where the numerator is bigger than the denominator, which means that we have something that's greater than 1. So any number over itself, so in this case 8/8 equals 1, because 8 divided by 8 would equal 1, and fractions are division problems. So we have 11/8, so we have more than 1. So the way that I'm going to think about this is I have 8/8 plus 3/8, which would equal 11/8. So this one right here, 8/8 equals 1. So I have another whole number. So over here I had 3 because of the 2 plus 1, and I'm going to add this 8/8 or 1 to it. So now I have 4. And then this number is what gets put as our fraction, 3/8. So let's do step up. Step up says count on from one mixed number to calculate the total. Draw jumps on the number line to show your thinking. So I'm going to start at 2 4/5. 2, 3, 4. 2 4/5. And I'm going to jump one whole. So that would put me at 3 4/5. So this is plus 1. And then I need to add on 3/5. 1, 2, 3 plus 3/5. And that puts me at 4 2/5. Now, if I'm going to change my color because I'm going to do this in a different way. So I'm going to change to red. If I had just added these, I would have had 3, and then I would have had 7/5. So I would have needed to change this to an improper or to a mixed number or to two different fractions. This is a 7. You can't really tell. 7. That made it worse. 7/5. So you can see here, I added 1 and then I continued counting on, which is the same as changing this fraction. So I could have changed this to 5/5 plus 2/5 and known that this would be a whole number. So that would make my whole number 4 2/5. I really like the number line because it helps me see visually why it's not 3 7/5. We just keep counting on. So let's do B just using the number line. So we have 1 5/6 plus 1 4/6. And you'll notice that this is going to be 9/6 if we add them together. So it's going to be greater than just adding these two whole numbers together. So I'm going to start at 1 and 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 5, 6. I'm going to add that whole. So I'm going to jump to 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 5, 6. So this was adding my whole. And then I'm going to add my 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4, 6. And I get 3 and 1, 2, 3 fifths. So 3 and 3 fifths. Okay. 2 says split each mixed number into whole numbers and fractions before adding, then write the total. So this time we're not going to count on from 5 and 3/4. We're going to do what we were doing before. So we're going to do 5 plus 2. And we're going to do 3/4 plus 2/4. So yesterday, when we were doing 7.6, we would always just start with the whole numbers. But this time I want you to start with the fractions so that you can see what we're going to have to add up to our whole numbers. So 3/4 plus 2/4 gives me 5/4. So this is an improper fraction. So I can look at that as 4/4 plus 1/4. And I'm not just writing a random addition problem that's going to equal 5/4. We know that 3/4 plus 2/4 also equals that. I'm looking for 4/4 or 1 whole, because then I know that I take that and add it up here. So we have 4/4 is 1 whole. So up here we have 5 plus 2 plus 1, because we're taking the whole from this fraction down here. So we get 8, and then we add our fraction up here. So we get 8 and 1/4. 8 and 1/4. I want you to do B and C on your own. I'm going to show you D. So we have 6 plus 3. But we're going to add our fractions first. And we have 4/12 plus 10/12 equals 14/12. So we have an improper fraction. So we're going to do 12/12 plus 2/12. This is 1 whole. So we're going to put it up here. This looks like a multiplication sign, but it's a plus sign. Plus 1 equals, you know what, I'm going to erase this sign. 6 plus. So we have 6 plus 3 plus 1 equals 10. And then we take our fraction from down here, and we have 2/12. So we have 10 and 2/12. I want you to do E and F on your own. And then step ahead says, figure out which pairs of mixed numbers add to make a whole number and color them the same. Some mixed numbers do not have a match. So I'm going to use the highlight tool here. Start with yellow. So they're all 12ths. And we want to do it so that it's not a mixed number anymore. So I'm going to look for some that added together will equal 12. So here I have 11/12 and 4 and 1/12. And 11/12 plus 1/12 is going to give me 12/12. So this would be 8, a total of 8. Then I'll change my color. And I'm going to do 1